Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, depending on where you at. This is Umoja. This is BAIO's live stream, and we are gonna cook this morning. We are not gonna take a long time. I'm not gonna hold you long, I promise. But we are gonna talk about a serious topic. Give a couple minutes to see if any of my brothers and sisters gonna show up within the next 5 minutes, and we're gonna get it started. I hope everybody's having a good weekend. I know you're having an extended weekend because of the holidays. Hope everybody's safe. Don't be out there playing with fireworks and everything if you don't know what you're doing and all that other good stuff. Yes. Morning, whoever that is. I'm about to get started. Somebody here, I ain't gonna keep, even if it's just one person, I ain't gonna keep them waiting. Good morning, OG. Our sis. So, I remember before I actually joined the BIO, I seen a video, and it was a video on the concept of endgame. And at the time, I want to say at the time, the Marvel movie or the DC, is it Marvel or DC? Look, I'm about to get killed for that. But the Endgame movie was recently out, and it was a big thing that we was always talking about. It's like, what's the end game? What's the end game? And it's always, we always have the end game of nationhood, but then we start looking at like, well, what's the end game of what we've been doing, right? And once we start investigating, I mean, it's really, really depressing, actually. And the concept of end game is basically, what's the goal? What's the goal, right? What's the goal of this exercise? What's the goal of this organization? What's the goal of my job when I go to work? Like, what's the goal? What's the goal? I just got your message, big brother Holla, man. I hope you're having a blast out there. I'm really envious of the concert you're going to. Sorry for the sidebar, y'all. But like in the description, I mentioned chess. I play chess. Actually, I've been getting my head beat in by one of my partners the last few days on a little chess online. But when you get towards the end of the game, that's called the end game. Like the last few moves, or the end game could be, in the first 10 moves or in the last 10 moves, depending on how the game is playing. But whoever has the strongest pieces and or the most pieces or the best position typically wins, right? That's the end game. And if you're a experienced player, you can see this within 2 or 3 moves ahead. Like, okay, I got him. I got her. Once I move here, they're gonna move here. I got them, right? That's the concept of the end game. Now, when we talk about organizations or when we talk about teams, what's the end game of your favorite sports team? It's to win the championship. That's the goal. When they start the season, most teams, right? Some teams, sometimes you just got a team that's trash and you ain't going anywhere. We gonna make believe that we have a strong team. In the beginning of that season, the idea is to win the game. It's not to just play. It's not to just get a participation trophy. Like, hopefully it's to win the game. That's the end game. And when we talk about organizations, in particular Black organizations, we have to ask, what is the purpose? What are they doing? And is this actually happening? Is this being effective? So in a lieu of time, I'm going to go over just a few organizations and give some stark examples of what I believe is a huge issue in our community. And where it becomes an issue is because I see our people, we do work really hard. We do work really hard for quote unquote freedom. We do work very hard for quote unquote liberation. But are we taking the best course of action in that hard work? Because we've been working really hard and we're not really moving the needle. So the first place that I thought about for some reason, because it's always heavy on my heart, was the Congressional Black Caucus. But I want to talk about them last because they so trash to me. They so trash to me. But I just have a crazy comparison to make that I thought was, I knew what to expect, but it just rocked me. Jabari is good. You know, he just finished up school. He just starting up his career, and he's moving. So Jabari's been like in and out. He's still here. He's still here, obviously. But life is happening. You know, life don't stop. Life don't stop, man. We doing all this pro bono because we love the people. But he got his journey is about to start in a major way. In a major way, and all he's about to do is be more useful. Straight up. So let's talk about a couple of the oldest organizations. Then we're going to talk about a couple new ones and just ask a simple question of what's the end game. Promise you it's not going to take long, y'all. NAACP. Here's their mission. Here's where you find the end game. If you don't talk to the people, go to their mission statement, their mission or vision statement. That will say their end game in it every time. Okay. So NAACP. We are NAACP. I'm reading now, y'all. Bear with me. We are the home of grassroots activism for civil rights and social justice. We have more than 2,200 units across the nation, powered by well over 2 million activists. Let me say it again. We have more than 2,200 units across the nation, powered by well over 2 million activists. That's 2,200 buildings, locations across America, y'all. Okay. In our cities, schools, companies, and courtrooms, we are the legacy of W.E.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, Thurgood Marshall, and many other giants and civil rights activists. Hey, my man.
Oh, good.
Too. What's up, Bart? Speaking of you, too, somebody was just asking about you, and I was explaining that you here. You just living your life. Let me finish this first one about the NAACP, and then you can come in and cook because I was in the middle of reading it. And then here's their vision, y'all. Here's the vision of the NAACP. We envision an inclusive community rooted in liberation where all persons can exercise their civil and human rights without discrimination. So y'all just heard what I read. Sorry that I had to like break it up, but Barry came and I wasn't about to keep on reading when Barry was coming in. But notice one thing that you don't notice. You don't notice any mention of Black people. What you do here is rooted in liberation where all persons can exercise their civil and human rights without discrimination. This is very important, y'all. This is very important to read. Like when they have professionals, they pay people thousands of dollars to write these things up before they put these on a public forum or a public place where people could see. You understand? And what they thought was the best way to word this was to say, we are an inclusive. First of all, we're going to let you know that we include everybody. We're an inclusive community rooted in liberation where all persons can exercise their civil rights. Now, mind you, y'all, there's nothing against that. I'm for freedom for everybody and all that stuff. I just don't care about the freedom of everybody while my people are in chains still. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. I was just talking to a sister last night and she was talking about, I can't stop the love that I have for all people. And I told you, got to let that shit go. Straight up. Not when you know that some people who you giving yourself to ain't shit. That's called stupid. That's not called love. That's not called being peaceful. That's not called godlike. That's called stupid. Sitting up there worried about what everybody else is doing while your own home is burning. But you bringing water to the neighbor's house, you taking care of this man's wife, but your own people is at home sick. And that's how I see us, right? And that's a perfect example of that. Jabari, the end game is the topic. I got a few more organizations that I want to touch on, but if you want to give any thoughts, any introduction thoughts on it, you can go ahead, brother. I know people was missing you. I even had a couple of people asking about you. Peace, big brother. Holla. Peace with it.
Yeah, y'all, I'm doing great. I'm gonna be busy for I was busy last week and I'm gonna be busy this week, but after this week is when I can really be more active. Oh yeah, ATL is definitely gonna be in the house, and ATL is where it's really gonna pop off at. But nah, I'm gonna say what I gotta say after you've done go through the list of your organizations. So continue what you're doing, and then I'll get in once you're done.
Perfect. Sounds good. I'm gonna just read through them then with as less commentary as I can then. I hope people listen because this is really important, straight up. To me at least, it's really important because it gives tangible evidence of what we're actually talking about. It's like just there for you. Okay, so now let's go to the Urban League, established in 1910. Excuse me. Our mission to help African Americans. Hey, they said to help us. Listen, to help African Americans and others in undeserved communities. Y'all, I don't know about y'all, but this disgusts me. I know I say it with as less commentary as possible, but this shit really bothers me, man. Can't do nothing for ourselves. Okay, let me start over and again try to not to go off the rail. Our mission, the Urban League, established in 1910. Our mission to help African Americans and others in undeserved communities achieve their highest true social parity, economic self-reliance, power, and civil rights. The League promotes economic empowerment through education and job training, housing and community development, workforce development, entrepreneurship, health, and quality of life. Again, when you read all that, it sounds great. It sounds great. But off top, they already lending ourselves out. And I don't know if y'all know, but when I was finding the mission statement of the Urban League, do y'all know that the Urban League used to be called, I don't want to tell y'all wrong. The League of, hang on, y'all. Sorry. I just want to be able to tell y'all this. Urban Leagues. I want to be able to tell y'all this because, you know, you find out. Okay. It was called the early three. It came from three different groups, and one of them was the improvement of industrial conditions among Negroes in New York. But it was called the League. Here it is. The Committee on Urban Conditions Among Negroes. That's what it was. So it was all about black people. That's the whole point that I was making. It was initially just about black folks. Wasn't about nothing else. Okay. And the last one that I wrote down was the Congressional Black Caucus. Oh my God. I really hate this institution. Like I hate. I'm like straight up, not hate to the I want to like hurt somebody or something, but I really don't like this whole institution. Okay. Congressional Black Caucus, something that a lot of black people don't even know exists, was established in 1971. Since its establishment in 1971, the Congressional Black Caucus has been committed to using the full constitutional power, statutory authority, and financial resources of the federal government to ensure that African Americans, they said the name, but wait, that African Americans and other marginalized communities in the United States have the opportunity to achieve the American dream. That's their mission statement. Now, before I say anything else about them, I just had the idea, and I knew what I was gonna find. But what I did, y'all, was I looked up what the Congressional Hispanic Caucus mission statement said. Y'all want me to read the very first sentence of theirs? Let me read what theirs say, y'all. The CHC addresses national and international issues and crafts policies that impact the Hispanic community. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's where we start and that's where we stop. We start on national and international issues and crafting policies that impact the Hispanic community. Done. Do y'all see the difference? Do y'all see the difference though? In just the writing in how the this congressional organization is organized. When it comes to black, oh yeah, we want to help African Americans in all what was the word? I want to say in all other marginalized communities. Do you know what that means? That means these very same Hispanics who actually have an organization where they're looking out for them damn selves. Guess what? We're down to help them too. We're down to help them too. But in their own writing, they saying we don't care about nothing but Hispanics. Mind you, they ain't got to say fuck everybody except Hispanic people. They ain't got to say Hispanic pride. No, it's right there. Y'all ain't got to guess and wonder how we feel. We only care about our people. Black folks, though, even in the writing in our organizations, we just letting y'all know we're not a threat. We're here for everybody. While we're still getting our asses kicked, we're here for everybody, and we all gonna get along. I think that's so damaging. I think that let me see. Hang on, sorry, y'all. Move. So they say one thing and do another. CBC. Wow. Oh yeah, you gotta watch this, man. I wrote a paper on this. I think the last election when everybody was trying to how you have celebrities saying go vote, you have all these people saying vote, people that people look up to and are inspired by, and I'm like, y'all do know that black people actually have a whole wing in Congress that's supposed to be ours. Where these motherfuckers at? Where they at, y'all? And nobody talks about it. Like, y'all don't know how much this stuff wrecks my brain and frustrates me. Like, it drives me insane hearing, because I'm hearing a bunch of people talking about an issue when there's actually people in place. I was taught early in life, when you have a problem, go to the person who can actually solve it. I'm not going to talk to my lady about some problems I might be having with something at work with a damn tool. She don't know. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's crazy. I read that Hispanic thing. I just want to read it one more time, y'all, because this is the energy we need to be on. The CHC addresses national and international issues and crafts policies that impact the Hispanic community. National and international, y'all. Okay, Jabari, go ahead. Go ahead, sir, because yeah, I'm just getting irritated right now. I got to take a couple deep breaths. You still there, Bari? Because I
Yeah,
want
I'm
to.
still I'm still here.
Yeah.
The first point that I would like to bring up is this is what happens when you have politics rooted in integrationalism and through what I call respectability politics, and politics rooted in black nationalist or black self-determination politics. Because over and over again we hear the word black liberation, and then we never ask these people, well, what do you mean by black liberation? What do you mean by black liberation? Does that mean black economic independence? Does that mean black political independence? Does that mean black people should have their own political party? Nobody ever outlines and defines what does black liberation mean? Because we make our mission statement very clear what we are trying to do, and we differentiate ourselves not only from those groups but even other African repatriate groups, because we are specific on where we want to go and why. When you ask many of these black organizations, okay, we want more African Americans to return to the continent, even some of the doubters will say, where? Because it's great that you want to move to the continent, but if I don't know where, I'm going to be more hesitant. Because, okay, will the Congo be comfortable with me? Will Zimbabwe be comfortable with me? Same thing if we were going to talk about in America. If they don't tell you what does black liberation mean, what is the ultimate goal, how do we measure that, then it's just pandering. And that's what we have. We have a lot of pandering. And the reason why I brought up black nationalists and black self-determining politics is because if you look at the Hispanic caucus and based on what you were reading about, that's because a lot of them know where they come from. A lot of them, Hispanics are not delusional that they're not Hispanics. They know they come from Latin America. They know their ancestry in politics is girded in that. We as African Americans have politics girded in straight up stuff that's irrelevant. The almighty Yahweh, the almighty Morris, I'm a sovereign Moor, Choctaw, Hasiktar, like all this stuff, politics that's girded in absolutely nothing, instead of politics that is girded in African politics.
Go
I
get.
don't care about politics girded in, oh, we was the original people, but we're the Hasiktar tribe. We are the children of the I don't care. Get your religion, your pseudoscience out of here. I care about what is your politics girded in. And if your politics is not girded in African politics, then to me it's irrelevant. And that also goes into being inclusive. I'm like Umoja. I don't mind working with other races. I have a lot of close relationships with people of different races. But here's the thing, there's a time and a place for everything. When we are in a black space, this is for black people only. This ain't for you to bring your white friend, your white significant other to the cookout. Everybody can't come to the cookout. Everybody can't come to the meeting. This is a black space. So therefore, this needs to be discussed strictly amongst black people and focused only on black people. Go ahead.
Let me touch on, because Jabari is going crazy on the people. I love it, Bari. I love it when you're on fire like this, man. So something that I wanted to make sure to point out too is that the fact that it's more than about what other people doing. It's about what we do. And what I do know for a fact is that we work. We work really hard. Black folks work really hard at so-called freedom. Black folks work really hard at the so-called revolution. However, the course of action that we take is childish at best, y'all. Like seriously, it's childish at best. And what I mean is this, right? So let's say what I'm trying to do here though is me personally is trying to stay away from the religious groups. I have my thoughts about them, but I don't want to talk bad about someone's actual religion and what they believe, whatever their their afterlife. And because this is more to do with just race when it comes to religion, mind you, I think they going in the head. I think it's insane, but I think it's look. I got. So I'm sorry, y'all, but I really do think that it's insane. I think that we are backwards, and what it comes down to. Sorry, y'all. My lady came and interrupted me talking about the damn babies. Threw my whole train of thought off. I'm gonna try to get it back, but the idea though is that instead of working so hard doing things that don't work, if we actually put our energy towards taking effective action, here's where the effective action come in. Because we do work, we in the streets protesting, we handing out pamphlets, we going door to door, we getting people signed up to vote. We are doing work. Black people are doing work, and that's why some people will come when we talking about something. They'll literally say, "Well, what you doing? What are you organizing? What marches have you?" And they're serious, and they think that this is work, and it is. It's hard work, but it's not giving. It's not fruitful work. It's not fruitful work. It's like you digging in a ditch, but you just digging straight down, and all around you is dirt. So as you're digging, dirt keeps coming in because you're just digging in this one spot. And once you get about a foot in, you're not getting any deeper. But you still digging. You working hard as hell, digging this hole, and dirt just keep coming in. And instead of expanding the hole, coming up with a different method of achieving this hole that you're trying to dig, your dumb ass keep on standing in the same spot, digging in the same spot, talking about I'm working hard, man. I want my wages, but you ain't getting the job done, bro. You a real hard worker, but you stupid. You a real hard worker, but your ass is dumb, man. You're gonna break your back, you're gonna bust your forearm up, and we ain't even gonna be able to use you as a laborer now because your dumb ass can't even dig a hole right. And that's what we doing. We just digging a hole, but the hole just keep filling in as we digging. Forget crabs in the bucket. We a dumb laborer in the ditch, man. Just digging. My suggestion, humbly, is that we focus our attention on doing something that can actually be beneficial to us. Imagine if instead of we're trying to have a small community, have a homeschooling thing with 5 kids. We're actually trying to get the teachers, retired teachers who want to work overseas, get them conglomerated. And what they're doing right now in America right now, when they get off work, they're talking amongst each other and developing curriculum for our nation, for our schools. See, this is something that is very feasible. This is not something that I'm talking about that is impossible. It just takes work. It takes work that is actually effective though. How effective could that be if we already have our teachers in line? Bam. Hundreds of retired teachers, they're working on this Black African curriculum for our kids, K through 12. And then we're going to get people with higher degrees and other specialties working on that. And that's just one thing. Imagine instead of having all these RBG groups, these people do get on my nerves. I don't want to talk about them because I lump them into like a religious group too almost. But imagine instead of these people marching around in their Huey P. Newton gun clubs and toting their guns, imagine if they was actually training for the nation that they could actually fight for. Because you're not fighting for America. You're not fighting anybody here. Cut the crap. I know this. How do I know this? Because George Zimmerman still lives. Negroes. Unless he done tripped on a rock and broke his neck. No one's touching him. No one's touching any of these police officers who just does what they want to us. No one is touching these vigilantes. So I do not want to hear about you marching in your black with your guns, talking about black power. Cut the crap. That's another form of hamster wheel activism to me. I have witnessed it. These people will touch black people before they touch a white person. Cut the shit, y'all. I don't want to stay here because I get real frustrated about that. All that marching left, right. Stop it. Stop it. Seriously. Now, imagine if these people were actually training, but they were training while they getting their passports, while they going over and surveying the land over in Liberia, and they seeing where they're gonna build their compound there, and actually have a fucking army and actually have land to protect, as opposed to marching back and forth. And mind you, y'all, there's literally hundreds of RBG factions, hundreds of Garvey groups, hundreds of Black Power groups, hundreds. I don't know about hundreds, but there are several Huey P. Newton gun clubs and stuff like that. What are we protecting? What are we conserving? Who feels protected by these people? Straight up though, who feels that something can go down right now and they can call the Black Panthers and they're gonna come to your city and go crazy? Somebody in the chat room tell me, y'all. Somebody in the chat room answer that. Who feels that they can have something happen to their family and they can call the Black Panthers and they're gonna fucking come? I rest my case. And this is the stuff that I'm talking about. We have to focus our attention on things that's gonna work for us, man. That's all I'm saying. That's literally all I want to say. Focus our attention and energy on things that are gonna work for us. That's all. I think that's pretty much all I want to say. Unless somebody else want to talk, I don't want to start just going after the people, because I will.
Yeah, no, we need to go after people. That's one of the things that I've learned and I'm doing on Twitter increasingly more is you gotta go after. You have to engage them and you have to go after them. We can't allow that ideology to just sit and fester unchallenged. But I want to address your RBG points, because that is something that really irks me with these RBG groups. Is not only do they talk, but notice they're very exclusionary. They claim they want to be about Black liberation. They're Black liberation if it don't include Black women, if it don't include Black LGBT. Notice they'll say they for the Black community, except we don't want to talk about Black women's issue, and we don't want to talk about Black LGBT people's issues. So you're claiming to be pro-Black while excluding other Black people. You say you are for Pan-Africanism, this RBG stuff, and yet you ain't talking about Liberia. I'm like, if you really a Pan-Africanist, if you was a red, black, and green person, you'd be talking about Liberia, because that's literally the country that Garvey was focused on, if you're real Garveyites. Granted, Garvey said Africa for the Africans, but if you read specifically about where Garvey wanted to set up, it would be Liberia. So if anybody has the right to say, are the Garveyites, it would be us. Because we're actually going to the country that Garvey wanted to go to and actually build communities there. We want to connect with the people there. We are the ones who are continuing the legacy of our ancestors. We have it literally on our page, on our About Us page. You can read the first sentence and you already know what we about. The Black African Infrastructure Organization is a social network dedicated to the principles of land, infrastructure, and nationhood on the continent of our ancestors and the nation of Liberia. Done. You ain't even got to ask us where the land at, where we trying to go. We make it specific on where we stand at. We are specific. And we're concise with it. But with these RBG groups, a lot of them, they say Pan-Africanism, Africa for the Africans, but yet they ain't in Africa. They ain't moving to the continent. They ain't organizing with African leaders already on the continent. It shows how vapid and how lackluster our politics is. You have people, and I'm going to go outside the RBG group, the FBA and the ADOS people talking about, I got to show y'all this tweet. 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 I got to put this person on blast. I want y'all to understand just how stupid and lackluster, vapid, so surface level our politics are. This is the person who put this on Twitter. I kid you not. Not going to give the name because I don't give, I don't like giving platform to certain individuals. Here's what she said. Black American Pan-Africanist bashes for not wanting to move to Africa. but never say anything to Africans in America moving back to Africa. Y'all, that was the tweet. I kid y'all not. That was the tweet. Black American Pan-Africanists bash us for not wanting to move to Africa, but never say anything to the Africans in America moving back to Africa. My response was, this tweet doesn't make any sense. Why would Black American Pan-Africanists bash Africans in America for moving to Africa when that's our goal? We want Africans to move to the continent. We want to see more Black Americans in Africa, Africans in Africa. You played yourself. I mean, this is what we're talking about. Politics that is vague, politics that is vapid, politics that is just straight up irrational and doesn't make any sense.
Can I say something, Barry? Let me interject something. Again, I want people, anybody listening to this or anybody who come across this, to remember that the concept of the end game is to get y'all to be able to identify, what am I doing here? What is the end game? Particularly if you've given up your resources, your time and energy to an organization. I love you too, mama. I'll talk to you in a minute. Peace. If you're giving your time, space, and energy to an organization, like taking time away from your craft, time away from your family, and really investing yourself into seeing something for the future of your people, sit down with the whoever, the owner, the president, and say, oh, all right, now what are we trying to achieve here? What is the end goal? What is the end game? What is the goal? And if that goal is, oh, we're just trying to get people to vote. Oh, we're just trying to educate the kids in the community. Oh, we're just trying to make sure that we have a safe place to meet, and look at him and say, well, that's bullshit. Like, how is that going to change? Seriously, look and really ask, like, how is this going to actually change something? And if you're one of them people who okay with change that's so incremental that you can't even see it, almost, where you could literally look back at some of the data and stats, even though we could see several wealthy Black people, you go back and look at some numbers, man, the actual wealth of Black Americans has not changed very much, man. Like, straight up. And we've been in the same position doing the same thing. So when are we going to do something different? See, the BAIO is doing something different. So don't go with that. What are you doing? That individual, what are you doing? We are doing something different. Period. First of all, sitting here talking like this, because we could be talking about something that could be making us some money. We could be talking about something that could be making us popular. But we talking about something that's going to actually get us freedom, actually going to give us a place for our kids to not have to talk like this. I do not want to have these conversations, man. I so wish we was talking about, hey, how we doing on that bridge on this side of town? Hey, how we doing on that school, man? You know, we got to hurry and get our kids in school. These are the conversations we should be talking about. Not, why are we still here in this fucked up position 500 years later? Do y'all not realize how insane it is? Am I the only one who can see how crazy we are as a people? It's insane. And if we keep on doing what we're doing, we're going to keep getting the same results. And I don't see us doing anything different, man. Everything is innovating and going at high speed, almost light speed. Everything in the world is. And Black people is just still like throwing stones, man. Like, straight up. That's what it looks like. And those of us who are winning, we spread out so thin that genius is given to others. That genius is in India. That genius is in Europe. And the genius that's in Africa is not being not being tended to. That genius soil was not being tended to because these kids aren't being encouraged to stay at home. They're being encouraged to go to America and get educated. And then they get Americanized and then they stay. We just fighting a cold battle, man, and we're not helping ourselves. We're not helping ourselves with fighting for America, man. Black people fighting to make America great more than anybody. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
Oh yeah. It's bad on that regard. I mean, we just think that if we just continue, like, we can redeem, and I kept telling people this, even those who want to stay in America, that come with the concept of the nation within the nation. I keep telling them, okay, let's say African Americans do take over a couple states. Okay. We still live under a federal government. Like, people got to understand that you live with a federal government. You really think they're gonna let you take over states? and them not try to stop you, not gerrymander those districts, not ensure white minority rule. That's what I want people to think about. And also, here's one of the things I would say. If I didn't believe in returning to the continent, which like I said, I'm definitely going within like the next 5 years, without a doubt. It's just, why not just assimilate? Why not? I'm not gonna fight non-stop. I would eventually just disengage and just try to assimilate. Because I'm not gonna put so much energy into something that I'm seeing little gain in. If you are spending more money on something than you're getting back, that's called a loss. If you make less money than what you spent, that's a loss. That's not a gain. You suffered a loss. And if those losses reach a certain point, you go out of business. And that's where I'm at when it comes to our politics. We are operating at a loss in America. And eventually, we're almost at that point. Well, technically, we're at that point where it's like, listen, time is up. It's over, man. It's over. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with leaving.
And
There's
that's
nothing wrong.
man, and you just hit the nail on the head. Y'all, I don't know. So the other day in the damn BIO chat group, one of these dudes sent a damn post with some live stream of some dude talking. I didn't know what they was trying to say, so I clicked on the video. And this brother, man, my goodness, this brother. The first thing I read in the comments was one of the moderators saying that the in RBG the green, and I'm serious, y'all, I'm really serious. They said that the green was for Ireland, was for Irish. And I know I'm like imagining in my head right now that y'all in the chat room are like laughing or saying, get the fuck out. I'm serious. They was talking about all kind of crazy stuff. I like listening for 20 seconds. And once I heard that the green is for Irish, I couldn't listen anymore. And in that moment though, I realized something for like the 1,013th time that we done, man. Black folks is done, particularly in America. It's a wrap. Like if you got any people and at the time of the stream, I looked, it was 500 and something people listening to this cat talk about that the green is for Irish. I know 517 people out of 50, 60 million, black folks. It's not super significant, but that's a lot of people to me to be hearing that green in RBG is for Irish, y'all. And I'm like, it's just a wrap. It's a wrap. Like nothing is gonna get better here. America in itself is crumbling.
Give me a minute.
America
Give me a
in
couple
itself
moments.
as an
Continue to talk,
institution
please.
is crumbling. And if we're already at the bottom of this institution, where the hell are we going to be when it crumbles? I don't know. I really don't get this energy where we think natural selection is going to like make us be the ones who are at the top when it all comes down. Like, yeah, yeah. I don't get it, y'all. I just don't get it. Ain't that much confident in the world. I'm comfortable too. I'm in my garage right now, got a big one rolled up, drinking coffee, about to go train somebody, get some money. Great. Great. Kids is fine. I live great. Honestly, I do everything I want to do. I'm fine. But that shit don't add up to me when I look at the state of my people. That's just me. That's how I love. Fuck everybody else. When I think about my people, I don't want my people to be in a place like this indefinitely. No, not the people who don't want to. So the people who don't want to, I think we should all be in the BIO, no matter what you're doing, no matter what RBG group you in, stay there. Straight up, no matter what garbage group you in, stay there. But if you see that it's bullshit, you have a place, man. It's called BIO. Simple. It's so simple. Just put your work to good fucking work. Even if it's just saving your money and going to Africa with us. That's enough. That's enough. I promise you, you will feel way better than what you doing here, man. Straight up. Straight the fuck. Outside of working like directly with kids, because that was the most like out of all the community shit that I've done, like working with kids, doing that shit, that was probably the yeah, definitely I cherish that experience more than anything. It was the most rewarding, you know. But other than that, mm, It's hard to say that we actually doing something when we look at the results. Look at the results, and you take that to your damn CEO. Somebody is getting fired. You take black folks' results in the last however many years, last year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 500, we would have been fired a long time ago. Huh? Exactly. I will, cause cause Big Brother Baruti did ask that question. I think, and Jabari, he wants to hear what you think. I think that the RBG's end game is to be able to is to teach black folks and to learn self defense. I think that I would say that is the actual end game, and then like you can get go down the line and it be to destroy capitalism, destroy the system, the capitalistic system. I would say you could say those two phrases and pretty much wrap up what their actual end game is. Now here, this is a good example of somebody who would think that they're really doing something great, right? So the idea and the concept of those two concepts are great. However, when you look at the results of what's happening, has there been an opportunity for black folks to do something to address capitalism, at least for black people? Has there been times? There's always a time. Yes, we could decide as a people, even as an RBG group, to say we're not going to spend our money here, or we're going to be the people who own stores in black neighborhoods. We're going to be the people who owns the nail shops, the beauty shops, the RBG groups. That's going to be our shit. But it's not. They don't.
And,
You know what I'm
these
saying?
RBG
Hang
groups,
on.
and
Let me say the one more thing. And then when it comes to the self defense, that sounds good. And a lot of them really do fucking self defense like a mug, right? And they be training the community. They train just average men and women, and they be in the parks. They be in the gyms, literally training with weapons and everything, like from guns to knives to just open closed hand combat. That's a fact. How fucking ever, when it comes down where to protect the community, that's what you get. Exactly that pause that I just gave you. I'm saying, I'm talking about even people coming up missing, man. Just let me hear somebody came up missing, I'll just give you credit. You're for real. You ain't even got to take the credit. Straight the fuck up, man. So, the results, man, effective action. You understand? That's the effective action. Because I could do all this work, but when it comes down to seeing the results, when the end of the fiscal year coming, we counting up the numbers, and we always show, always. Come on, man. That's all I got, y'all. That's all I got. I ain't got nothing to say unless somebody got any questions. Go ahead.
yeah, and to further bring it home is when you ask these, okay, what is the not even what's just the end game? What's the goal in the immediate term? They can't tell you. Like I could tell you if you ask us, okay, you guys say nation, but what does that really mean? Okay, we want to establish a BAIO chapter in each of Liberia's 15 counties. We want to establish an African American community in each of Liberia's 15 counties that consist of the following. We want to have this done in the next, such and such and such. I could be really specific and say like 5 to 10 years. We would like to have at least in each of these counties one Liberian be the representative that guides and helps assist. Yeah, like I can get super specific because we know what our end game is. We
Do
can
you
break it
know?
down to small mini goals,
Do
but
you
I can get down to the T
do you know
of
how
just how
important?
specific.
Do you know how important it is? Because the important thing is that because most people are gonna ask, they're gonna want you to break down the breakdown, right? And that gets boring and tedious, and that's for somebody like me that just want to snap. Because then I think you're being disingenuous. You know what I mean? But you can break it down, and all of it is really doable. And
And
really,
then, and
most of
guess
it is not
what?
as hard as the work that we doing here in America.
And guess what?
That
If
part.
you break it down really, if you break it down like to like a little child, it starts to make sense to them. Break it down. Okay, okay. You guys said you want to establish an African American community in Liberia, one of Liberia's counties. Yeah, we want to do that. Did you know the cost of a house to build a house is only $5,000? So with a down payment of $5,000, we can help assist in getting your house built, and you can move into that house within the next 2 years. All you have to do is get your Liberian passport. All you have to do is go through all these requirements, and you'll be able to have your houses. And we got somebody there that'll help you establish. Like, I could break it down to that level. That's how serious and how specific my vision is. I don't have to answer to you mumbling or giving on a diatribe. I can answer your question specifically. Okay, which county is it going to be? Well, we narrowed it down to 3 different counties. This county, and that county. We're preferring this city because of this reason. Okay, how many people do you want in this region? We preferably would like to have this many people, at least more between 50 to 100,000. But at the beginning, we want to have at least 1 to 5,000. I can break it down to that level. Who are going to be involved in the process? Well, we've currently reached out to these Liberian organizations, and we've reached out to these Black association groups. This is what we want each of the Black groups to do. Well, what can I do? Well, here's what you can do for me. If you are an engineer, you can participate in our STEM group, and you can begin the processes of laying out and planning this. If you are a medical professional, you can begin the process of going to Liberia and beginning to help educate and assist future Liberian doctors at different universities. I can tell you here's what you need to do. Because I know where I'm going. I'm not mumbling. I'm not mumbling. I know where I'm
going. I don't know why that's so funny when you say that.
I know what I want to see. Okay. Is this an inclusive organization? And what I mean by inclusive, I mean, does it include all Black people? Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
Because I'll never. Hollop knows who it is. We're just gonna use the abbreviation. We know what we call him, but I'm gonna use the abbreviation LJ. LJ, y'all know who it is. And the BAIO. But I saw one of his comments on an interview talking about Liberia. And there was a Black LGBT person in the comment section that said, this commentary rarely includes Black LGBT people. And we are Black first. I'm for the Black community. I care about Black people. I want to return to the continent, but it never addresses our needs as Black LGBT people, right? And he says, well, there is no discussion outside the Black family. Now, I want y'all to think for a second. Why would any Black person want to follow your vision if that's how you think? Why?
Yeah, that's because I think when you have people who get hung up on one specific issue, and that's a terrible challenge when it comes to all of this that we're discussing, is that there's so many issues within our community. There's so many. I'm talking about the litany of issues that we suffer from.
Oh yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
It's so many that literally I could just say, I just want to focus on Black men being over incarcerated, and I can have enough work to keep me busy for my whole life.
And
you understand me, Jay?
And here's a crazy
you
issue.
Me, Jay? You understand what I'm saying? I could say I just want to deal with Black LGBTQ teens, and I can have enough work for the rest of my life. Do you understand? And those are literally small issues, as big as they are.
And the thing that's worse about it, Umoja, is when you have a Black LGBT person who says, "I want to help."
I promise. I promise, because I got to go soon.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to answer that question. No, go ahead, Barry. I don't want to cut you off, but
I just want to be real quick. And then we can answer that question. When you have somebody who's willing to help, say, "What can I do?" And they be a Black Christian, Black LGBT, and they say, "Yo, I want to come to the continent. I want to help y'all." And your response is, "No, you can't."
Because you're a Christian. Because you're
LGBT. I'm sorry. I hope your movement fails. I hope it fails. I hope you get nobody.
Yep. Real talk.
What is wrong with some of these groups, bro?
Not so simple, but we've all been there. We've all been there at some point with
numerous occasions, more than we can count.
With like somebody, you know what I'm saying, with somebody or some group. So I get it, but when it comes to the BAIO, that's like not tolerated. That's probably one of the most either if you come here and like you don't actually want to actually go to Africa, like we don't get it. So like you can like kick rocks pretty much immediately. Or if you come and you mind you, we have conversations about the so-called gay agenda. We have conversations about gender issues. We have conversations about all of these things. However, when it comes down to it, like the brothers, the sisters, this gay, lesbian, whatever, we all come and say no, but the nationhood is the end game. That's what we're actually here for. All this other stuff is just stuff that's on the peripheral that we can discuss, because again, we have all of these damn problems. So we can't deny them and dodge them. But yeah, you have Christians, we have people from the Nation of Islam, we have gay people, we have tall, dark, light
And our
skin.
goal and
You know what
the
I'm saying?
goal of
Straight up.
nationhood
We have
and the
all of
goal
them,
of the
men, women.
nationhood, Umoja, is to provide a safe haven for Black people.
Hello.
That's all Black people.
Drop
Okay,
the mic.
so
Drop the mic.
if a Black LGBT person says, "Yo, I want to come to Africa because I'm tired of racism," my response is, "Come on in."
So
It's not going to be shut the front door and leave this Black
this
person
is
hanging who
cooking.
wants to help, who needs a safe haven, and then they have to go and basically fend for themselves because your behind cares more about who somebody's laying up with than what the actual end game is.
Man, you just cooking. You just cooking and now underrated coming and I gotta leave, man. And y'all about to be sitting here just splattering the place. But I do want to answer the question. But really, one of the most powerful things that we are actually equipped with is being Black people who from America, because we know exactly what a messed up system looks like. Therefore, the system that we create and develop should be nothing less than fire. It should be nothing less than a fireball. I'm gonna break it down to a damn slang, straight up. It should be the dopest system on earth, because we know exactly what real corruption look like. We know exactly what bribery is. We know all that stuff, yo. So it should be no reason why what we run. It shouldn't be women feeling like they don't matter. It shouldn't be kids not being reared to be geniuses. It shouldn't be a military that's half-assed. The space program should be off the hook. All these things. The colleges should be top of the line. Our politics should be so dope. Like, no, we're not going for your bush. No, no, yes, we're doing business with them, and them. We don't care about you because we don't need you. Because we living off us type shit. But anyway, back to the question. We just got everything that we need, except people coming together and agreeing that we have everything that we need. So we gonna leave everybody else alone and do our own fucking thing. Anyway, Umoja, are you saying that the focus of RBG Group is not Pan-Africanism or national sovereignty? If so, why or how are we led to believe that RBG groups want African reparation? Personally, I do not believe that RBG groups want African reparation. Personally, and when I say I don't believe them, I'm gonna put them all as a whole, because I believe that the majority of them are on basically what I described earlier. You know, doing local community stuff. You know, maybe bringing food boxes to like houses on occasion, helping. Some are definitely do more work than others. That's a fact. Like some of them do more training, do more outreach than others. That is a fact. So I don't want to act like they do nothing. Please let me not say that. I don't want to just. But when it comes to actually effective action, remember that's the end game. Effective action, nationhood. Effective action would be all of them coming together, all of them talking all the time. And I know what I'm talking about because I was in one of them. I met the general, all of that shit. And I know what they talk about. I'm not just talking out the side of my neck here. And I meant that shit. You know, you understand. And when it came down to doing something, and when you talking about I'm not a Black superhero, when it comes down to actually protecting and serving our people, that don't sit well with Umoja, though. That don't sit well with me. You understand what I'm saying now? Right? So I know what I'm talking about. But then when a famous rapper died, we ready to go to LA at the drop of a dime. We ready to act crazy and go on some celebrity worship shit that you would think is like, wow, I didn't know that this was that serious. It's not that serious when it's time for us to do something. Besides dress up and go to an event and look good. Y'all not understanding what I'm saying. Y'all not feeling me, right? But so I don't believe that's the focus is reparation. Now I know that there are people within them who is focused on that. You understand what I'm saying to you? Now, are you saying that the focus of RBG group is not? Yes, yes, but what is that? Define it. Their definition of it. I promise you, you go to any of them and say, "What is Black Power?" That's one of the favorite phrases. Put your fist up and say, "Black Power." Ask them, what does that mean? They might get angry at you. Y'all ain't hearing me though. Y'all ain't hearing me right now. I'm trying to tell y'all some real shit. Ask them what is Black Power? What does it mean? What does it look like? Huh?
Oh no, oh
No,
no. We know Umoja. I understand Umoja. That's why I don't get involved with these RBG groups because I
that's
mean,
my answer to.
I already. First of all, me being in that community automatically disqualifies me because I can't tell you how many times I walk up in the group on the same stuff. Yo, we need to build Africa and all this stuff, and they end up going like, oh, you can't be that because you're supposed to be black first, and I say, yeah, I am black first. But your homophobia is making me have to second guess. Do I really want to be black first? Because why would I be black first if you fundamentally oppose my existence? Like this is like we can't I can't get nothing done in these groups or can't even think about connecting with them because that's what's the biggest focus of them.
Jabbar, what you and this is why I mess with you, honestly, because back when I was young in consciousism, I would have these conversations and I would tell a gay person or whatever they were identifying as, I would say what you just said. I would say, but I see you as black first. But I remember being at a forum back when I was doing my mental health stuff, and we was on a panel, and the sister was just talking and talking and talking, and I asked her. I was on the panel, and I asked her because she had asked a question, and she was just talking and talking and talking, and then I asked her, and I'd explain myself, and I said, "See, I'm like this though. I see it as if I see any black person and blah 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 blah, I'm gonna be there." And like I feel that if you had the option of either you have to have this LBGT person or it was the black issue, I feel that you would go for the LGB first. And then the black, like I broke it down like that, and she literally like agreed that she would. She didn't try to deny it. She like felt a little bit bad about it, but like but the crowd though, they like felt it. It was people in the crowd that like understood the point that I was making. You understand? And that's so if you like that, then I don't want to mess with you. Like go ahead and be with your LBG friends. Like cool. Right? Like cool. Like you this ain't for you. It's as simple as that. For me, I'm not arguing with nobody about none of that shit. Straight up, it's certain things that we do. It's certain like our culture is so. We talk about toxic men and toxic women and all this shit, toxic masculinity. Nigga, black culture is toxic.
Yeah.
Straight up, it's so much shit that just bothers the hell out of me about what we do and how we in our thinking patterns, man. Straight up in our behaviors, the stuff that we do as a whole. It seems like it's always toxic. It's always toxic. But when we say let's do something positive as a whole, like why can't we be the dominators of, let's say, IT, IT?
And you know what?
Even think. Let's not IT like the big one, but what do they call them? IT departments and like nonprofits
Give
and
me a second.
businesses, even in corporations. Everybody have IT departments. That shit don't take nothing but 18 months in fucking community college. Probably less than that now. You could probably get that shit in 4 months now with how fast technology is. Why can't we be the ones dominating that? Why can't those be all black? Do y'all feel what I'm saying? Why can't we have that culture? Because Asians have the culture of being smart and being doctors. West Indians, they culture in America is all of them is gonna be smart and be doctors and own stores and shit like that. Koreans have a culture. Everybody's gonna be studious, going to college, getting big degrees and doing something. But black culture, you can't even give a specific on black culture when it comes to education or employment or something. And what you can do, it'll be lower level. You don't dominate nothing, man. Our culture is not dominating anything. And we're good at everything though. The shit that but mind you, and we're the best at everything. Literally in every field, we always the best. The one that's in there be the best. They the ones that came up with the new damn surgery. They the ones who came up with the new thing for eyeglasses. Straight up, look it up. Like right, even now, still in 2022, we always the best when we in there, but we don't bring our best and just use it for ourselves. And that's what I mean when I say leave everybody else alone, mind our own business, and worry about our damn self. We have the hardest time doing that, and it's not fucking hard. We're here. We're fucking
Mm-hmm.
here. We're here,
Mm-hmm.
and we're geniuses, and we're beautiful, and everybody wants us except us.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants us except us. We're with the Asians. We're with the white people. We're with the we're with the Indian people. We're with Hawaiian people. We're with the native people. We got everybody. Everybody wants us except us.
And I would say this.
I gotta go, y'all. I love
All
y'all.
right.
I'm about to hop on and listen in, but I gotta
You
go.
ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
Right?
but when
I'm
yeah,
look.
and when we focus on when we are in, like I said, when we include all black people, and that's why I keep focusing, and that's why I keep harping on it. It allows for us to focus on black issues. It allows for us to put our talents together because there's no more internal conflicts. Nobody has to feel that they're not welcomed. You want to be put in an environment where if you are a black Muslim or you're a black Christian and you're a scientist or you're a lawyer, you can be your lawyer and be your doctor and not have to worry about anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can do your job. That's what nationhood is, doing your job. One of the key things with whatever organization unit you do is you need chemistry.
Mm.
And we can't build a nation if there ain't no chemistry. And we can't have
Mm-hmm.
chemistry if people don't feel like they're a part of it or feel like they can't do their job and role. Case in point, me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a civil engineer. I specialize in transportation. I can build your road systems. I can build your roundabouts. I also have a minor in physics, so I got a little bit of background in physics. But if you care more about my identity, what that does to me is I got to focus on my identity first, and then my blackness then has to come second.
Second.
So
Mm.
now I can't do my job for the nation. Now I got to focus on making sure my identity is protected because I fear I might get harmed.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we say if you need to care about all black people, if there is any black person that says I want to join this movement, you're welcome. You're in it. We welcome you with open arms. You got a role and a place here because we want chemistry. Because one of the things you know about the BL, we all got chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
We all love each other. I don't have to work. I can talk to practically anybody in the BIO and we can have a good conversation. We can talk. We can have a great conversation. We may disagree on some things, but I can talk about anything. I don't have to fear that if I talk to them, that there's going to create this internal dysfunction. I don't have to worry about that. Okay. And that's what's going to be important for nationhood. Because guess what? When we come to Liberia, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we have to come like we're organized. We got to have chemistry. We got to be unified. That's when we really gonna see it pop off because people know we're serious. They see we have a vision, and they see that we care about the vision more than we care about stuff that's irrelevant. Umoja, there ain't no end game for these RBG groups. There ain't no end game for them. Like I said, it's
Mm.
amazing how Garvey was in 1920. It's 2022, and we still having these conversations, y'all. Marcus Garvey Jr. passed away like 2 years ago,
Mm.
and we still in the same predicament we are.
Mm.
It will be 200 years. It's been 200 years since Liberia was founded, and a lot of us still in America.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff bothers me because we've been here. This is not what the BAIO is doing is nothing new. We're just continuing the legacy. We're continuing the traditions.
Mm-hmm.
I want to really harp on his point. Liberia, this is the only country in Africa that was founded by Black Americans, and we sit here and let it drink. Oh yeah, it's bad. I have a problem with
Terrible.
it. It makes me want to cry. It makes me want to cry to see that our ancestors went over there, fought tooth and nail to get there, and on my ancestors right now, all of that went to waste. The 400,000 signatures, going door to door, and lobbying for it in Congress, all that going to waste. All of
Mm-hmm.
it. I'm reading a book by Keisha Blaine, and I suggest everybody read the book. I've always promoted that book. It's called Set the World on Fire, Black Nationalist Women and the Global Struggle for Freedom. It
Hmm.
talks about Black women from in the Americas and the Caribbean, which debunks the myth that Pan-Africanism was not in the Caribbean or in Africa. It was well in Africa, and anybody who tells you that it was, they don't know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
People like Amy Bailey, Una Marson, Ethel Waddell, uh, Minty Malina Gordon. It talks about all of them. And it talks about the lengths that they went to ensure that it happened. And the story really is Minty Malina Gordon and
Mm-hmm.
and Alberta Spain, the two women who were advocating for immigration to Liberia. They were advocating for Liberia in 1932, like around the early 1930s. Well, technically 1920s for Minty Malina Gordon because she was part of the Garden movement.
Mm-hmm.
She had been pushing for Black Americans. She was doing signatures. She was doing all this organizing, y'all. She did it for 30 years, and she died in the United States.
Oh.
Never, never stepped foot in America. Never stepped foot in Liberia.
Mm.
She didn't have the money. She tried everything she could, and it didn't happen. You had another story, well, again with Alberta Spain, doing the same thing again. 20, 30 years of activism, trying to get us back, and it fades away in its obscurity. 20 whole years gone down the drain. That bothers me to like reading that bothered me. It's what motivates me to do what I do. If you want to know what my end game is, that's why my end game is Liberia is hard. That's why I focus on it so much. That's why, like I said, I got great respect for other African countries, but that's why I focus on Liberia more than anybody else.
Yeah.
We can talk about the rest of Africa, but my goal will always be on Liberia and Liberians. That's the reason why, again, I put on Twitter, I said African Americans and Liberians are one. And I'll put it up again. I'll put it up again so that people know that I mean business about what I'm talking about.
Mm.
Here's what I specifically tweeted. I tweeted this out a couple days ago. Um, Not there. Um, Here we go. Bing. Here we go. Yeah, listen, brother. It hurts. It hurts so bad. It hurts. Oh, don't worry. It hurts. Like I said, when you've been 20, 30 years advocating and trying to see it come into fruition and then not, it hurts. Here was the tweet that I posted. I said my goal is to see African Americans and Liberians working together. African Americans and Liberians are one. We need each other, which is why I don't really like to make a distinction between African Americans and Liberians because I see us African Americans as Liberians. So I kind of really don't make the distinction. I just see us essentially the same. Um, so Yeah. And he says, it brought me to tears. Had to sing a video, a guy named Mother talking about how Liberia was heaven on earth for many Africans. Yeah, it was. Like I said, every Pan-African movement went to Liberia. And there's actually a video, if we want to talk about it. I'm only gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna get copyright, but what I'll do is I'll just show a few. But they did a video on Liberia in the 1970s. Since I'll probably get copyrighted for that, and I'm not willing to take that risk, let me just go to okay. Give me a second.
Take your time. Take your time.
But yeah, this is Liberia in the 1970s when it was at its height. So here it is.
Like, comment, subscribe.
1970s. So this is how it looked like in the 1970s.
Oh, wow.
Yep. You had this. Okay. And then we can go here. Look at the Ducor Hotel back in the 1970s. This is how the hotel used to look like in the 1970s. That was the first five-star hotel in Africa. There it was. And now it's in utter ruin. Here's another picture of it again. Right here. And it's not just there. We can go to Maryland County in the 1970s. So here's the sugar manufacturing in Maryland County. This was in the 1970s again.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it was all over. Here was Harper beforehand. I mean, it's really unfortunate how it came to be like that. You know, it just it's stunning. What else? Didn't mean that.
This is crazy.
Yep. Here's the vision of it again. So I just want people to understand what we mean by Liberia in the 1970s before the 1982. If we're going to talk about in terms of living standards, Liberia was significantly better in the 70s.
That's a shame.
And like I said, imagine if and you had Nina Simone in Liberia as well. You had Nina Simone, you had Bill Russell, you had all these folks in Liberia. Just imagine if they would have been able to came along with people like I said, who were advocating for the Bad Africa movement earlier, Mitty Marlena Gordon, Ethel Waddell, Alberta Spain, and they really were able to go. I mean, you could have had something like a Singapore, like a Chicago or New York. Who knows what Liberia could have been? But now we got to rebuild.
Facts.
Are Liberians in Canada, U.S., and EU maximizing efforts to rebuild Liberia? Are they capable of facilitating Liberia to live without aid from so-called? They can do it. It just won't be as fast. They can do it, Baruti. They just can't do it as fast. Because I only think the Liberian diaspora is like 500,000. So 500,000 Liberians dwarfs the 40 million that we have right now as Black Americans. So the Liberian diaspora population and that means Liberians who want to go back. Okay, so the actual number is actually 1.2 million according to Front Page Africa. They say it's 1.2 million, and they say there's about 100,000 Liberians that live in America. Okay, so and that is Liberians and people with Liberian heritage. In terms
Mm.
of Liberian diaspora, it's probably about what I said, about 500,000. So you're talking about you're talking about not a huge population compared to African Americans. I mean, African Americans have about 8 times the population of Liberia. It's not like Liberia is a really densely populated large country. It's only got 5 million people.
Right.
So they can do it, Baruti. It just won't be as much. It won't be as fast, and it won't be as much as compared to African Americans, who, like I said, are about 40 million. And if you only got 10% of us, that's 4 million, which is the size almost the entire country of Liberia. If you got 10% of us, that's hard to say. If you got 20% of us, that's 10 million, close to 10 million of us,
Mm.
which would be twice the population of Liberia again. So that's why I said we can, but you really need the African American population to see. You really need the Liberian population. So for you, Rwanda promotes interfacing of cultural tradition plus modernity, a formula bearing national success. Is black not specific culturally is a problem? I mean, black is just the racial connotation or the racial categorization. Excuse me. Um, in terms of culturally, it doesn't really matter because you just say African. Is it culturally African? You don't have to say black culturally. Black culture. You could just say African culture. Is why I use the word African American and not Black American. I don't like that word, um, because Black Americans are African, so that's why I call us African Americans. That's why I call ourselves African Americans, because we are African. We're not just people that came out of nowhere, or people who are Native Americans.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're African Americans. We are descendants of lost enslaved Africans. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So that would answer your question, Baruti. Um, what else? What other questions you guys have for us? Um, but yeah, I think what makes our organization different than these other ones is we actually have an in game. We're very specific. We can have smart goals. We can have uh we have smart goals. We are very focused. We have a vision. We know what we want. Not Turtle Islanders. Yep. No. Mm-mm. They use that fake mythical place. My God. My God. Not Turtle Islanders. We're not the Mississippi is the new Israel, the new Jerusalem. We're not them. We're not the people that said the Mississippi is really the Nile River in reverse. We're not those folks. We are in the real world. We are rational. We come up with rational goals. We come up with goals that can be measured, goals that have a time period. We are politically adept, so we focus on all issues: international affairs, science, economics, American politics. I focus on American, Caribbean, African politics. I'm present on TikTok. That's really what makes us different, and we actually walk the talk. We're not just people who say we want to go to the African continent. We haven't been there. We've been to the African continent. Some of us have been there numerous times. Some of us are going back in the near future. We rock the talk. We're not just talking. You couldn't help yourself. Listen, I understand. Listen, you can't forget about them Turtle Islanders. We can't forget about the copper color folks. We can't forget about the Moors. We can't forget about none of them. Underrated. You have something to say.
Yes, I do.
You have the floor.
Not going to speak too much, but yeah, the end game is Liberia. Nationhood is it's about solution. Nationhood, it's about our people, and it's about controlling the narrative. KRS One said, "When you have a new reality, you are no longer oppressed." And having Liberia as a home for Africans, it doesn't erase all problems, but it erases the main ones that we currently struggle, where our needs aren't being met and we're getting the scraps. And to have Liberia as a nation state, it reverses all of that to where we are solving issues. It's putting African people first, and we're not last in line. And it's for the better at the end of the day. There's no gimmick. There's no, yeah, but it's straightforward. This is what we need to do in order to advance. This is what we need to do to have a better living for our people for generations to come. And you see it from our org, how it's gradually growing to where it's coming to be to what it is now, and that a lot of people are not in cohesive with it or are not on board, because it actually takes work. It takes work, it takes strategy, but also takes effort, team effort. And it's funny and ironic how we can understand sports, we can understand how a team is operated, how they go back to the drawing board, they come up with a game plan, and they set aside their differences, their personalities for the common goal to win the championship. But when it comes to reality, and it's not sports, but social, economical, and political structures, all of a sudden it's just thrown out the window. The BAIO is all about connecting, not convincing. We are all about solution and not complaining. The BAIO is about what can we do as a people to get out of this mess and do something for ourselves so that this just doesn't have to be a question anymore. We want our people to just be. And as Jabari was saying, with Marcus Garvey Jr. passing away and just some of the greats, it sucks. It's depressing for people that have fought so long to promote this message and are doing the works, that they pass away not being able to see what should have come to fruition, now, obviously, or years ago. And it exposes a lot. I mean, just the small actions that we have, that we ask of, members and just new members, or just ones that are listening to the channel. It's very small, to share the content, to like it, to comment on it, to send it to another person that may be interested. If we can't even get those things done, then why are you or why are they talking about, well, what are you guys doing about it? It takes a collective, it takes a movement, it takes organization. So Liberia is the end game. That's what we're working towards. And for those that believe in land, infrastructure, and nationhood, register to the website. We are the beacon. For those that don't, I mean, y'all could step aside because we don't need y'all. Thank you for helping us by saying, yeah, okay, well, we know that this person is not with the mission. And that's all I got to say.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to add on to Underrated's point. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time, to reach out to people, send them messages, engage in conversation, get brochures, do PowerPoints, do meetings, but it's necessary. You have to plant the seeds. You gotta plant future leaders. It will require us to have to educate. It will require us to have to train. It's gonna require us to do all this. But that's what it's gonna take. You gotta have an army. In order to build an army, you have to develop. You have to teach. You have to mentor them. And as somebody who knows Liberian history, front, back, center, up, down, left, right, it's my job to teach it. It's my job. I do it on Twitter. I do it on YouTube. I do it on TikTok. I teach and I educate because I can't be in Mississippi or Alabama or South Carolina in the near future to be the one teaching. It's going to be community leaders in South Carolina. It's going to be BAIO community leaders in Mississippi, in Alabama, in Louisiana, based on what I've given them the material, the PowerPoints and everything. Y'all going and evangelizing the populations for your regions, giving you the blueprint on how meetings are supposed to be ran, how the structure is supposed to be organized. All of that comes into place. And that shows that we're not just a group of individuals. We are planning to be a professional org. Professionalism is when you get credibility, and we want to be a professional organization where we have centers where you go to, we have departments where people are involved. And you know, seeing the greats go and knowing that they spend 30 years is what tells me I have to do my part and I have to really be at the forefront of this. Because that should be your motivation, that should be your inspiration, that should be, well, they didn't make it, but we are. And we, most importantly, we remember your names. That's the first step. We remember you existed. That you just didn't wander this earth and ain't nobody remember who you were. People know who you are. People know your name. People know that you existed. People know that you contributed to our overall struggle. And we here at the BAIO, and I've been grateful for it because, like I said, it's been going on close to 3 years that I've been part of this organization, and I hopped onto this organization fast. I used to be on the Nation Within a Nation, Do It Right Here, Black Power American. But then when the BAO said, listen, we want a nation of our own, and I figured out that Liberia was the place, I figured out that the two could collide, the two can combine, the two can become one. And now the Liberia and land infrastructure nationhood are synonymous. And, I like how Underrated brought up the point that it's not a utopia. It's not going to be utopia. But I want to live in a country where we control the means of production, where those issues are our problems that we have to address with, that we have to see, may the best man win, that we are able to project our foreign policy, our ideology onto the global stage where we can engage with our other fellow African brothers and sisters, have our own safe haven where we control from top to bottom, the federal government, the county governments, we control it. We have a black Congress, a black House of Representatives, a black executive, a black Supreme Court that is represented and rooted in our ideology, rooted in the politics that are needed, because that is what's missing. And I talked about it earlier. That is what it comes to be.
Mm.
Oh, Hollop underrated already chimed in. He already chimed in like 5 minutes ago. You missed it, bro. I was like, come on. I'm like, he made so many good points. He made so many good points. I love
Dang,
underrated whenever
Holla.
he talks. You gonna ruin his great monologue? Come on, Hollop. You ruin his monologue. Come on.
Go back into the timestamp.
Exactly. You gonna have to press that rewind button. We're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to think and go rewind. But yeah, it's ours, and it will always be ours. Liberia is still here, even with all the problems. The first and second Civil War, Liberia is still here. Like one of the people that we interviewed said, Liberia is Black Wall Street that won't die. You can go on a map right now and find Liberia. You can touch Liberia. You can be in it. It's still there. And that's what we want. We can make our country the leader of the world. Again, nothing is perfect. We're going to have problems. But guess what? I want to be in control of my own problems. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm helpless. Because one of the things that get people upset is not the fact that there's problems. It's the fact that they're helpless. They feel that there's nothing that they can do. They feel like they have no control over their lives. They disengage, they're apathetic because they don't feel like they have anything they can do. And there's a lot of back to Africa sentiments going on right now. And we want to ride on that wave of that back to Africa sentiment right now, shift it to Liberia and bring people into our fold. It's there. I'm hearing Black folks moving to South Africa, moving to Ghana, South Africa becoming the hub. And I'm going to join them. I might join them too. Have two places, Liberia and South Africa. I mean, South Africa, let me tell y'all, South Africa is becoming the place. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. I've been there. But we can capitalize on this moment. And that's why I can't wait, because Underrated and me are going to be in the same area. We're going to be in like the next 2 weeks. We're going to be in the same area. And it's going to be great to finally have something that people can see. People can see our BIO shirts. People can see our BIO meetings. People can see what we do. People can see it for themselves, and they can finally join.
And it's all free.
Yep. All you got to do is sign up to the website. Peace, Mark.
Peace, Mark.
And with that, y'all, if y'all don't have any more questions, any more comments, I would just like to say thank you guys for tuning in into this live stream. We're going to be doing a lot more. I'm going to be doing a lot more in the next upcoming weeks. I've been really busy, like I said, because this what's going on the next few days is going to be really important for me. So that's why I've been sort of disengaged. Man, NDR, yeah, I was like, we were just about to close out. But go back and rewind. We have really good stuff in there, really good stuff that you would like to listen to. Yeah, so we got the lounge going. Make sure you sign up to the website so you can become part of it. You can chat with us, ask questions, just have conversation, and all of that. Underrated.
Yep. Open discussion for the lounge. If you guys are The Boys fans, which is a TV show, we'll definitely be talking about that. Other than that, word of the month for July: mouse click energy. Please follow the BAIO membership dues. Like, comment, subscribe to the content. Share the content. Bring someone on board that you know would have an interest onto the content and also to the social network. Mouse click energy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and with that, y'all, we would like to end it here. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Sign up to the website, and y'all have a great rest of the day.
Peace, everybody.